Cena and the Big Show had a match.
If you want to call it that.
I ranted about this with Dave, but I have far more to say here, now that I've got some real time to unleash some fury. First off, they did ring entrances with almost a half hour of television time left.
Correct.
Now, I glance over the spoilers every Tuesday, but I don't memorize them. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, I wonder what the angle to close the show is going to be. This match can't possibly go a half hour. So then the bell rang, and there were, in fact, 22 minutes of television time left. I thought. So the match began, and Cena ran wild for a little bit, and then he got cut off, and Big Show went to work with 19 minutes left on the show. Now, I believe that in the final moments of this match, Cena's comeback lasted no longer than 90 seconds. Therefore, if my math is correct, which it has not been of late, 17 minutes and 30 seconds of the Big Show getting heat on John Cena. No buys.
No fucking buys anywhere on Earth. Yes, it opened with a very sloppy brawl, some very bad brawling here in an alleged main event program to two guys who are allegedly in the world title picture. And then it I guess it improved to being merely really boring.
This went on forever. Yes. This went on forever. And meanwhile, Jim Ross was trying to put this over, and I will use the exact word he used. Magnificent. That's what he called this main event. Magnificent.
Well, then he and I would disagree.
Jim Ross does not need to be killing his own credibility, calling this shitfest magnificent.
Maybe he doesn't care anymore.
They had a profoundly boring match. It went on forever and ever and ever and ever. Finally, Cena starts to make a comeback, and as he's making a comeback, Edge comes out. Edge slides into the ring and slides right back out behind the ref's back, does not lay one single finger on John Cena, does not touch John Cena, does not trip him, does not hit him with the belt, does not snap his neck over the top rope.
Doesn't spit at him.
He stood there. John Cena was distracted. John Cena got punched in the face and pinned. He looked like the biggest doofus in this match.
I like
the biggest
word,
dweeb.
Dweeb. The word used in the newsletter
is a
much better word.
Fool.
No, he was the biggest dweeb on earth. He got beat up for 19 minutes, made a little comeback, got distracted by the first shiny thing he saw, and was punched in the face and beaten.
What a dumb shit.
What a dumb shit.
I have no desire, everybody. I have no desire to see Big Show in the main event at WrestleMania. But after I saw this match, the logical part of my mind that pretends all this is real was thinking, boy, Big Show deserves a shot.
He must be a top guy.
I was not thinking, boy, I hope John Cena gets his revenge or something next week.
Nope.
I thought, you had your chance against a Big Show, and you failed out of your own fucking stupidity.
Right.
You got pinned clean.
You were not, there was no travesty of justice here. You deserved to lose.
This is like, what was this like? I'll tell you what this is like. I don't have this problem so much anymore because my kids aren't nearly as stupid as they used to be. But in my gymnastics class, I used to have, they're between the ages of sometimes between about 6 and 16. But that's a story for another day. But usually they're right around 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that age. So the age where they're starting to kind of be dumbasses sometimes. So every now and then they would be in line to do tumbling passes, round off back handspring or whatever. And they would try and go, and several years ago, this was the big one the other kids would say, brick. I don't know why this was so funny. I don't know why this was so distracting. But as guys were trying to tumble, somebody would say brick, and this would cause their concentration to fail. They would begin laughing or they would fall down. They just could not do this if somebody said brick. And I tried to explain to them, they wanted me to punish the kid saying brick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is not that kid's fault. This is your fault. He said brick. It's not that funny. You say brick all day long, I wouldn't laugh. What the hell is so funny about brick? What happens if you go to a fucking competition and you're about to compete and there's a gold medal on the line and you're about to do a tumbling pass and some guy in the crowd yells brick? What are you going to do? Stop and demand he be thrown out of the building? No. These distractions are your fault. John Cena was just like my 12 and 13-year-old gymnasts. A man came out. He could not help but stare at the man. The man did not do anything to him. He didn't even say brick. He did nothing to him. And John Cena was punched and pinned. No sympathy whatsoever. He looked like a dweeb.
I like the idea of your students progressing through life, achieving great things, perhaps even competing for WrestleMania main event, but still going back to brick.
Sure.
It still works.
You never know what might work. But God, he looked like a fucking idiot. If you're going to do that, Cena should have taken most of the match. This is like basic first-day psychology. God, he looked like an idiot.
If you're going to do that, the match should not have been 22 minutes.
That was the other problem. Big Show and John Cena for 22 minutes. The other thing, I wrote about this in the newsletter, which I know everybody reads, but I'm going to reiterate it here. I was watching that Armageddon or whatever it was from 2002 that was on 24/7, and I talked about this a while ago about how some guys looked remarkably different than they do today. Other guys didn't look all that different at all. This was Cena's first ever pay-per-view match in 2002, and he's barely improved.
There were two observations you made here. One is that he's exactly the same wrestler.
He's exactly the same wrestler, and aside from being a little fatter,
he has almost exactly the same physique.
Fatter is actually the wrong word. He was leaner back then. I wouldn't classify him as fat now, but he's certainly got more body fat than he had back then.
He is smoother now.
But physically, he looks exactly the same. So make of that what you will. But yeah, I watched that match, and I expected Cena in 2002 to just be god-awful. Because I see him now, and he's really not all that good. And I think, Christ, can you imagine in 2002 how shitty this guy must have been? Moderately worse. He really has not improved all that much.
So we're seeing the best John Cena has to offer.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Which is still significantly better than what we've got out of Vladimir Kozlov.
Or Shelton or Chavo.
So cut your ties on those two guys. So anyway, this failed, and Big Show should have gotten the title shot. But instead, on Raw, it opened with Lawler announcing that Cena was going to get it, and he said it was the biggest announcement he'd ever made in his career. What?
I don't know.
It was a main event on Raw, and it really wasn't all that big a main event.
It was a main event with about an hour 45 minutes build. So how big could it be?
Well, let's play a song.